Marta Designs. How is everyone tonight? We are live streaming a second part of this wood door hanger tutorial. And just going to start off by full disclosure, we had an epic craft failure with our stencil we purchased. So, and I'll repeat this information for anyone that comes on live a little bit later. But we like to get started right away. So if you remember on earlier part of the week on Monday night, we did the staining of this board. And this was the already done board, and we had the back on the second board from Monday was undone, so I did that one today. Hey, anyone hopping on? Hi, Angie. So this is the stencil we actually purchased. We is myself and I. So we purchased this stencil, and it is not the stencil's fault. So I've been trying to steer away from using heat transfer vinyl and vinyl. Even though those are great products that you can still use on wood, I was trying to do as a painted product, so with a stencil that you could get more use out of one particular product. No, you didn't miss the stencil part, Angie. I'm going over the epic failure that happened today. So I couldn't get to try this out earlier because of the timing of the delivery. So we finally got our stencil in, and it wasn't long at all. It was just that obviously shipping, there are shipping delays. So since this stencil is mylar, it's not sticky or doesn't have any kind of adhesive, okay, on the back of it. So when you put the stencil on, you do have to tape it off so that it doesn't move. But the other part of the typical problem is that when you're using a stencil and it's doesn't have like an adhesive back, it will still tend to allow for the color to sink under the stencil and bleed under the cutouts. So there is a process by which you can use Mod Podge. So you can use Mod Podge. You put a layer of Mod Podge everywhere where you're going to paint, and then you can paint right over the Mod Podge. Well, this particular material, I think, does not. It's not very best friends with the mylar. So when I went to peel it up, and even though it was still semi-wet, the paint, it was just cracking everything because of the Mod Podge. So we ruined our board. Number one, because it's very grainy and uneven, just looks really bad. It's not something we can peel up either, so that's okay. We're going to use this as a test board then for other things, maybe even colors or anything like that. But that's okay, lesson learned. So what we are going to have to use is I'm going to have to find a good adhesive to spray on the back of this, and then stick it down, so that way we just use paint without having to use the Mod Podge. Because again, when the Mod Podge broke off of the stencil, it literally wanted to bind so bad with the stencil that it wouldn't want to come off. So that's why you see like things just peeling everywhere. But that's okay. So we will get through this. So we will try again as soon as I get either the adhesive spray, or I was going to try and do a Cricut stencil real quick, and my slice function on our design space wasn't working for some reason. So I think I just need to do a design space update. And then we might just come back on Monday. If I get my design space working, then we'll just maybe use the Cricut vinyl stencil, and I can show you guys that. So this is the Cricut vinyl stencil, which I just rolled back up real quick because I was about to use it, then things weren't working to make a stencil. So this is the Cricut vinyl stencil. And so you can literally make your own stencils out of the Cricut vinyl paper. It's just that they are not really friendly for reusability, okay? So, you know, you can use it once and it's kind of like once and done. Otherwise, you know, if you want to get a really good use out of your stencil, you're going to want to go with like a product like this. But we're going to need to actually get an adhesive that works really good. And see, since these letters are really something that move around, typically there should be like another little cross section here. But just the font that I picked didn't allow for it. So, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. Crafting accidents happen and you just learn from them. So now I've learned that this Mylar doesn't want to play well with my Mod Podge. So either way, we were still going to do a bow tonight. So we're going to do two bows because Liam has two teachers, and so this is going to be the saying, which was teachers are blessings. And what I did get in was this really, really pretty, I ordered this really pretty grateful, blessed, thankful ribbon. His son goes to a Catholic school. So I thought that would be really nice. The teachers have been doing a stupendous job, not only at my son's school, but it seems like across the country. Just, you know, switching gears as much as they, and quickly as they possibly can with the pandemic season. And so we were just being a little thankful for them. So we have a patterned ribbon we're going to start with, okay? Actually, why don't we do, how much ribbon do we have in here? Oh, we got enough. All right, so why don't we do this? We're going to start with actually this 1.5 inch ribbon, okay? And we're probably only going to do 8-inch tails because once we get this to work, this is about an 8-inch tail. I'm not going to want this to go very low into my design because then it will cut through my letters. So I will be able to just curl this up and then it won't cover any of my letters there. But so we won't go any longer than an 8-inch tail for now, okay? And so let's start off with an 8-inch tail and let's maybe do it your way here so that you can see. So we've got an 8-inch tail, and then we're going to come in here and do a twist. Okay, so this tail can go down. Okay, and then I think we're going to do about a 4 to 5, maybe 5-inch bow, just under maybe 5-inch bow. Not bow, loop, excuse me. And I think what we're going to do is try to, I'm just making up this bow as we go. Maybe do about 2 loops of this ribbon. This is like a argyle pattern ribbon. Okay. And every time I go in, I'm going to twist. Okay. And twist again. So tonight we're going to do 2 repeat bows. So you get to do this twice live. And if you have any questions, you can ask. Or if you're watching this on replay, you can ask. Which if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we would love for you to become a subscriber. You don't get spammed, you don't get anything, you just get notifications if you click that little notification icon that we're going live with a special project. So we have 2 loops on either side there of the argyle 1.5-inch ribbon, and all these ribbons are wired. And this one is new, we haven't cut that little manufacturer fold off yet. Okay, so this one's a little tricky, right? So because this is a patterned ribbon, if we come over here, sometimes we can work it, but sometimes we can't. Just depends on which direction things are going in. So let's see if we can make it work in the bow maker without making everything look like it's going to go upside down, since it is a pattern. Okay, so our blessed is going that way and our cross is going in one particular direction. And we're still going to have to do this process of twisting our ribbon every time we come in through these dowels. I'm going to take some of this ribbon right out just so that we can not get snagged over here. And I'm going to continue to push my tails down, okay? So then, just going to come in here. Okay. And see how now all of a sudden my ribbon and my thankful are coming upside down? So this is not something that's going to work, and I just wanted to show you why. So if I keep doing it through the bow maker, it's going to continue to put my pattern in an upside down format that you won't be able to read, okay? So what we would rather do instead is do it by hand, and then we can stick it in the bow maker, okay? So take your thumb and your forefinger here, and then pinch it. You're going to have about an 8-inch tail. You're going to pinch it, okay? And then just loop this under so that you make your loop like you would in the bow maker without twisting it, okay? So every time you come through here, you're just going to either flip over and do it that way, or you're going to flip under. And if you're wondering how long your tails are in your loops, then you can just come over either to your cutting mat and measure. So I'm about 5 inches on one side and slightly off on the other, but I think we're okay. And then when you get back in here again, you're going to flip it under. You don't twist. Every time you're doing a bow by hand, there's no twisting involved. And then that's why your pattern will be able to stay in the same direction, okay? So same direction, okay? Same direction. And then when I come back through here again, I'm going to flip it over again. Same direction, okay? So, and there we go. All right. Now, there is a method that you can just kind of cut these and piece the ribbon together, either by cutting the tails first, or just doing the loop separate and then putting the two together in your bow maker. So either way is fine that you can do it. I'm just trying to see, there's a couple of pieces here that are a little too long, so we're just gonna fix them. Okay, and there we go. Sometimes it's a matter of who's on first. Okay. There we go. Angie says she likes the cross ribbon. I think the cross ribbon was really pretty. It's a subtle one, so I know there's not a ton of people that follow the same faith, but that's okay. Your faith is your faith, and we're not here to, judge anyone for their faith, but I think this one was a very subtle one that didn't scream anything at me when I looked at it, and that's what I wanted. So I'm just trying to decide where I want my background ribbon there, and then what we're going to do is still come back through once this guy gets in the right spot. There we go. we're still going to come back through with our argyle ribbon again. Okay. Let's just cut this off here. I'm going to cut it down here. I'm going to keep a whole cross there. So this is just some cute little ideas that you can do for a teacher appreciation gift. It doesn't have to have spiritual meanings. It can just say you're the best teacher or thank you. You know, it can be very simple. You could make a really nice bow like this and you know, just put it on a evergreen base with some things on it. You know, it doesn't have to be a huge deal. So, but just some ideas. Okay. And so I think that's about it. And then I'm going to do one more little loop. To just, actually, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do one more loop. We're going to leave it like that. And then we're going to be able to fluff this out, hopefully, so that you can't even see the zip tie. I just took some out. So we're going to take our zip tie. We're going to come right up against these dowels here, okay? If we move our tails and our loops, we're going to get right up against those dowels. And then I like to just close up the zip tie enough so that if I pull this off by the zip tie tail, I know it's not going to just come tumbling apart. So I feel kind of comfortable that it's not going to fall loose everywhere. And I bring that zip tie tail to the back and then I just close it up a little bit more, but not completely. All right. And then this part is where you can just take the opportunity to make sure all your ribbons are going in the right direction. Oh, look at that. We forgot to cut our tail here. Whoops. Okay. So I think everything's going in the same direction for the most part. And we'll have to fluff everything, don't worry. So then we come to the back. Okay, what are we going to do with the back? So I think what I am going to do is when we fix our issue of the painting situation, we may just end up having to make our own stencil vinyl for now. But we are going to spray foam the top of this so that we can attach the wire, or we're either going to just drill 2 little tiny holes and attach the wire that way, and then that will also help us add a hanger as well. So I haven't decided whether we're going to do spray foam or do 2 holes, which will also help us do a wire hanger. I'm going to stay away from ribbon hangers for now. I would rather it be wire just to be able to last longer. And just forgot our little floral cutters here, wire cutters. Alright, so we take about a 2, maybe 1.5 foot, yeah, it's about a 1.5 foot piece of wire. And we're just going to squeeze this ribbon down. And then if you come in the middle here, you get to actually see that there's a gap. And you go right under that gap with your wire. Okay. Hopefully you're able to see that. I need to actually switch views for a second. Okay. I think you could see that. We don't have our second monitor working right now because we're working from home and I had to steal one of our pieces of equipment to keep our other working monitor for the other job going. So, okay, so you're going to twist the bow once you have your wire at about halfway on either side. Okay. Alright, now that you have everything in place, now is when you can come in here and just close the zip tie up. Okay. Close it up as best as you can. Okay. just cut that tail off, right? All right, so when we go ahead and fluff this up, we're going to do it so we're giving it a wiggle to just kind of break it from being so squeezed by the zip tie. Okay. You won't even be able to tell that there's a zip tie in here. And if you can, then we can just come right back in with a piece of our ribbon and tie a piece of ribbon all around the middle. Okay. So it doesn't do it justice until we get it on our actual piece, but that's how you can do one bow. So we can just go ahead and put a piece of ribbon here if you wanted to tie that off. Okay, let's do that at the end so that we make sure we have enough ribbon, because then if we don't, we can use a piece of this one, okay? So the other one, you know, we don't need to make two of the same bows. So let's see what else we have over here. We also have this striped ribbon, which is similar but different, so maybe both teachers don't feel like they got the same exact gift. Okay, so maybe we can change up the bow and give everyone their own special little design. Okay, so we can keep it the same in one way. Let's go this way. Keep it the same in one way where we measure out to 8. Okay. Put this down. Just remembered why it was so dark in here. Does that help a little bit? Aha. I was kind of working in the dark there. So we're measuring out to 5, and we're going to do 2 loops on either side now, okay? And this is going to go a little bit faster. So 2 loops on either side, and every time you come in these dowels, you're going to be twisting your fabric so that the unfinished side comes up, and then every time you bring the loop back over, your finished side comes to the front again, okay? And we're going to measure out to 8 and then give it a cut, okay? All right, so 2 loops on either side. Now we're going to take our 2.5 inch ribbon, and remember we're going to start off with a hand bow, okay? So we can measure out 8 on here, which is approximately here, and pinch this in our hand, okay? Now we're going to go take this and go under, okay? Under first, and if you need to measure this, you can put it up against the table, and it should be about 5 inches. We're about there, almost, so that's good enough, okay? And then you're going to take this and go over, okay, and put it right back into your thumb there. And so when you're going in your thumb, you're just kind of squishing the material in. It's not that you're making an effort to put it on top of the one already there, you're just kind of making a layer, okay, of things that you squeeze in there against each other. All right. Okay, and then this tail, so we made 2 loops on either side, and we can already go ahead and stick it right in our bow maker to hold that there. If you had like a chip clip or something, you could always use a chip clip to hold things. Just trying to shut my, there we go, volume off. Sorry about that. And so now why don't we take this one here again. I think I'll have enough to just basically do the same thing. So you can come to either side to do your bow. You can come to the right side to start with your tail or the left side, it doesn't matter. So we'll do one loop here. Okay. And then do a twisty, do another loop. And this one, what we could do, since we're at the end, is we could just do a accent loop here. Okay. We'll just do a little accent loop and let it hang down. Or we could actually do, there's enough to do a full loop. Why don't we do 3? There we go. Nothing's ever right or wrong. So since we had enough, we'll do 3 on the top. Okay. Because we're right at the end of the roll. All right. So empty roll. I think I get to buy 3 new ones. Is the roll. And I thought I took out another zip tie, but it seems like it may have magically disappeared. So again, we're going to find where our dowels are and push our little ribbon aside for a minute until we can zip tie this down. Not all the way, just until you feel comfortable that if you pull this up by the zip tie tail, you're okay, it's not going to fall apart. Okay, so let's move our little bow maker away. And then here's again, the magic happens where you bring this to the back, okay, and cut your about 1.5 to 2 feet of wire out. The gauge of wire that I'm using is actually, I think it's 22. Yep, 22 gauge. It's one of the thicker floral wires. So in floral wire, you actually go the opposite. 22 gauge is a smaller number than 26, but it's actually thicker than a 26 gauge, okay? So we're gonna try and get to the halfway point with our wire. Okay, let me snuck that in there by accident. All right, so now that I'm at the halfway point, I'm gonna go ahead and twist my bow. We'll give it first one good twist here, and then twist my bow. Now actually, see, I feel like my zip tie is a little still too loose because when I was about to twist my bow, I felt too much jiggling going on, okay? Too much jiggling going on. So now that I have that on, this piece of wire, I'm gonna shut this really tight. Close it off until you can't hear any more clicks. Cut off that zip tie tail. It's no longer needed. Okay. And here is now our second bow for our thank you gift, okay? And again, you're still going to do this process where you kind of want to wiggle it around to break up that really tight hold from the zip tie tail. Not the tail, but the whole zip tie. It's been a long day. Okay, so once you get this on your actual project is when I would recommend to fluff it even more, because until you get it on is where you will know where exactly is it lacking in a particular spot, or where you want which ribbon to be in which spot. And so you don't need a ton of ribbons to do a bow. We only used 2 in each bow, and you still have a full bow with a lot of character, matching components on both sides, but you have just one different accent ribbon. And you can still make 2 quality bows that have the same meaning but different looks. Okay, So unfortunately, that's going to be it for us tonight, guys. And I do apologize because we had our little snafu with our board, and I was so excited to go, do the stencil tonight with you guys, and I wanted to show you what it was going to look like done. And I'm glad we did this off camera so that I didn't have a heart attack with you guys on camera. So I appreciate each and every one of you for being on. If you're watching the replay, please go ahead and give our YouTube channel a little thumbs up. Maybe subscribe would be great, and let us know what you think, or if you have any questions, send us a message. Otherwise, we are back on YouTube next Thursday, 9 p.m., or you can catch us on Facebook at 9 p.m. over at the Santa Marta Designs channel. Okay. Oh, Angie, you don't need to practice. You're fine. You're fine. Well, you guys can always come practice when you're on with me. I don't mind, and we're always here to answer any kind of questions or give you guys any tips that you need. So, no worries. All right, well, it's Thursday. I wish you guys a close to the end long weekend, a hopefully very happy Memorial Day weekend to all of you and your family. And please be safe, okay? Kathy here from Santa Marta Design signing off. I will see you guys next week. Have a great one.